Hey, so I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube breaking down every character and what they do and how to play against them, but there's just a lot of small things that I didn't even know till I had over 200 hours in this game, and I feel like they were pretty important things to know. And so I'm not clickbaiting you. If someone dies in Mo and Krill ult, he gains permanent max health. I had no idea about this until I had over 150 hours in the game, so I just want to go through more things like this that I think are just pretty important to know and a lot of people don't. Next, when BeBop has his uppercut at its final level, it will reset his hook cooldown after he hits it, so he can hook you, knock you away, and then hook you again. After McGinnis puts 1 point into her heal, she and any allies in it actually gain a fire rate buff while they are standing inside of her heal. Also, McGinnis sucks. Paradox Grenade actually gives her damage amp per stack. However, unlike Pocket, the damage amp is applied as a debuff to her enemies and not a buff to her. Going off that, for a long time I thought Pocket's Mirage applied a damage amp debuff to you, but per hero he hits, it actually applies a buff to him, and this buff can be used on any enemy hero or even when he's farming camps with his additional damage. This is another one you might know, but Shiv knives actually stack in damage, so to do the ideal amount of DPS as a Shiv, they will actually stack their knives. So as you can see, if I hit the enemy with one knife, it does about 5 damage per ticks. If I apply a second knife, we're doing 10 damage per tick. If I apply a third, we're doing 15 damage per tick. So you really want to wait for the Shiv debuff to expire and then re-peak him. So when he hits you with a second knife, it'll only be 5 damage instead of sacking and doing 10. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about Warden's Flask. All it does is remove a stamina from you, slightly slow you, and reduce your weapon damage. It does not give him any bonus damage. On the other hand, when you are trapped in his cage, he does get 20% more bullet damage when it's at its max level. With absolutely no items, a good Abrams can melee you before you can parry when you are stunned by a dash. However, if you're below average elo, the Abrams will not know the trick to get his melee off and you can parry him right after his stun. If you are an Abrams player, basically the only trick is to start your melee while you are in your dash. However, if you buy debuff reducer, you will be able to parry the Abrams even if he does this melee cancel. Now here's where things get a little complicated. If the Abrams buys duration extender, then technically he can perfectly hit you with a melee after he stuns you. However, this is very difficult to do, and not even the best Abrams in the world can get this done 100% of the time. You basically have to have the Abrams hitbox like directly inside the character's hitbox you are meleeing, otherwise it won't go off. If you are even a pixel off and the enemy is spamming parry, they will be able to parry your melee. This is a smaller one, but tier 2 Dianmo kick actually gives him extra bullet damage after he hits it, so you really shouldn't be taking fights immediately after he hits his kick. This is one you might know if you watched my video on the latest patch, but at its max level, Haze Sleep Dagger now applies a fire rate slow for 6 seconds after you wake up and reduces your bullet resist. Kelvin has a bit of a weird one, where at his max level Ice Path, the further he's gone with it, the more spirit power he has. So if he's at the very end of his Ice Path, he'll be doing a significant amount of extra damage. Also a bonus one with Kelvin, you probably know this, but his Frost Grenade can heal. I'm only mentioning this because I did not know this for an embarrassingly long time. When 7 ults, you can actually position yourself next to a wall so you can shoot him, but you are not hit by any damage from his ult. At its max level, Flog applies a 35% fire rate slow, so a debuff reducer will not hurt if you are a fire rate based character. I don't have much for Vindicta, so my apologies, but at its max level, her Crow actually suppresses healing. We have 2 smaller ones with Infernus. Number 1 is max level Catalyst actually applies an anti-heal. And number 2, when his ult is max, it gives him 100% lifesteal on damage he does to enemy heroes. At its max level, Geist ult actually gives her a 40% fire rate and spirit resist buff. So after Geist ult, we should really be trying to shoot her and not use as many abilities. If you look above Wraith's health bar, it will actually show how many cards she has. Sorry if you know that one, this character is a little straightforward. When Mirage hits you with Scarabs, you will get reduced bullet resist. That's why a lot of Mirage mains like to lead with their Scarabs. Also, you probably know this, but after using his Tornado, he has bullet evasion chance, that being 25 at its base level and 45 when it's upgraded. This is one you might know already, but I didn't know this for way too long. It's that when Guided Owl is at its max level, it executes enemies below 22% health. Honestly, there isn't that much for Ivy, but when her Stone form is at its max level, it'll heal her for 20% of her max HP whenever she uses it. We also kind of are running low on things to talk about with Yamato. I don't know the combo, but I do know when you use Flying Slash, there's a way you can do a melee cancel during it, so if a Yamato jumps on you, it can be worthwhile to just press parry and hope she's going to do her melee. Finally, when Yamato gets 2 points in her Crimson Slash, it'll heal her 10% of her max health based on how many enemy heroes are hit. I honestly can't think of much for the big goo boy, so all I will say is that when he's in his ult, he gets 60% spirit and bullet resist. Anyway, I spent a lot of time just in the sandbox kind of looking through characters after my first a couple hundred hours in the games, and I thought this was really, really useful, and I wanted to impart some of the knowledge I learned upon to you. I really hope you liked it. I really hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you think of this. I feel like, I mean, this is kind of a one-off video, but let me know what you think of just kind of these like guide/educational things of just that I just feel like no one has really covered and that are pretty important. I feel like it's a pretty big void of just content that kind of like understands what the average player doesn't know/does know and what is useful to know versus what isn't useful to know. I feel like there's a lot of people that just give everything and a lot of people that just don't give enough. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, keep it real.